Hi everyone, it's Danny Schur, composer, producer, co-writer of the Stand movie musical. Welcome to Musical Mondays. Today's episode, the story of a song. Welcome back everyone. As you know, Stand is coming to the United States on December 1st. Ticket link below. The new single, the pop remix by Lisa Bell, just released this past week. Here's the link to that. But today we're going back to the beginning and I'm going to share with you some of the deep inspiration behind the title track song, Stand. So for those regular watchers of the channel, you'll know that Stand, the movie musical, is based on my stage show originally named Strike. And back in 2017, the script was done. We were making a movie musical going to be called Strike. So we're going into production and I think we need a closing credit song, something that encapsulates the whole movie, kind of touches on all the themes, but isn't necessarily what the movie's about. And that week, Colin Kaepernick was in the news, the Black Lives Matter movement was in the news, climate change crisis, Greta Thunberg was starting to come onto the scene. There was a union movement crisis, ongoing indigenous protests over pipelines and land titles. So my head was just full of this theme of the marginalized, always being told, just go away, your problems will be fixed later. And I tried to put myself in the shoes of those movements and thought, I'd just be really tired of being told to go away all the time. So it was with all that I sat down at my trusty Yamaha MOX8 keyboard. This video is not sponsored by Yamaha, I just love Yamaha keyboards. And I came upon this acoustic guitar sound that sounds like this. Sort of a classical acoustic guitar. And I played that riff and I thought, ooh, that sounds like an intro of the feeling that I need. And then it just seemed to beg to go somewhere else. Sounded like a good setup. So I always do this thing, and this is where we're going to get into some music theory, where I take the third of the chord. Instead of just playing a D major chord, you take the third and put it in the bass and do this. It sounds very acoustic guitarish, of course, and then it immediately leads to... So I do that in a lot of songs, this business of... And then you can do it in another spot in the key. And it's just got such a movement, it seems to propel itself. So that riff just got me thinking. And then the line just landed. I'm tired of all the people who tell me I should just go sit down. I'm tired of all the people who tell me I should just go sit down. And then the riff. And then that just begged for an answer like... which led to a little pre-chorus thing. And the riff. And it was at the chorus. And that opening line had a natural answer to it in the chorus. If the singer of the song was being told to go sit down, well, the act of defiance was to stand. So the chorus came about, all the permutations of stand. How would you stand? What other expressions in regards to stand? So immediately this came into my head. Stand on the strength of those shoulders. Which led to, of those who stand up and never back down. Which led to, these hands have the strength to move boulders. Which led to the really key line, I've drawn my line in the sand, and this is where I stand. I've drawn my line in the sand, and this is where I stand. and the song was basically done. Then Lisa Bell, the most excellent Winnipeg singer, comes to sing the demo. I'll let Lisa tell that part of the story.
The story of Stan, how it came to be. Danny called me, and he knew me through the community and knew I sang and acted, and he asked me to come sing the ending credits theme song for the movie. And I thought it was an amazing opportunity. So I jumped at it. We haven't really met each other formally until this moment, but I came and it just was magical. We started and we had this moment where we looked at each other and we just got like really teary.
Okay, so song's written, it's recorded. Lisa and I are really excited, and we email it to Stand director Rob Adatui in Los Angeles. This is where the story gets funny, because somehow the song gets into Rob's iTunes list. He hears it, but he doesn't know I've written it. And he gets back to me like a day later and says, Dan, I found this song. It's perfect for the movie. I know you didn't write it, but we just got to use it. And it was funny. He didn't know I wrote it. So were we happy when he discovered that I wrote it. So then the light bulb goes off for Rob.
I'm Rob Adatui, the director of Stand. What you need to do sometimes when doing a historical picture is widen the lens, because quite often the photographer of the time really didn't see the need to include people of color, indigenous people, certain working class people as well. There was that bias. And once we looked into the history of Canada in terms of the people of color, there were plenty of photographs, but they were all excluded from being in these particular so-called historical documents. But in the margins and out of frame were women, people of color, indigenous people, etc. And so their contributions were often overlooked. And so we investigated which characters in the story could be better represented either through a person of color or an indigenous, and we decided that we'd create this character of Emma.
But ma'am, I've been working here for 7 years, and not once have you offered me a raise.
In the script originally, it was a character who was white and Irish, and she had one song, and we took her character and expanded her to become one of the leading characters and made her an African-American woman whose family had come up to Canada around the 1900s to get away from all the race tensions in Oklahoma.
My family came from Oklahoma 10 years ago, running from lynchings.
Well, her character became a very important aspect of the story, and through that came the song Stand, which is a very strong, liberating song that she sings, and in fact became the title of the movie.
I've drawn my line in the sand, and this is where I stand.
So now the song has made its way into the movie. It's triggered a whole new character, Emma Jones, played by Lisa Bell. And it's opened up a whole new discussion within the cast and crew about representation in the movie. And the song changes the title of the movie from Strike to Stand. And before the movie came out last year in Canada, we produced a music video of the original version, the movie version of the song by Lisa Bell. You can watch it here. But this is also a story of how we came to have two videos for the same song from the movie musical. Along comes COVID. We're super delayed in the release of the movie, but it's coming December 1st to the United States. And during this time, we talk about how the song as represented in the movie is very quiet, very introspective, very right for the scene, but not a radio single. So we launched the plan to do a remix of the song. You can check out this video and this video about the process that we went through to re-record the song. Lisa added extra tracks. We completely changed the arrangement. That original guitar riff of same notes, totally different sound. You can see both. You decide. In fact, it would be awesome to get a whole bunch of comments with your having watched the pop remix or the original, and tell us what you like best about both, which one you prefer. But no matter which version you prefer, come see the movie on December 1st all across the United States. Ticket link below. Get the soundtrack and the new pop remix single on Apple Music. And as my trusty goalie helmet and I always say, stand up for human rights and stand by. Thanks.